Hi, Sam. Welcome to the Tea with Nikki. I just wanted to ask you first off if maybe you can introduce yourself on how you would like to be introduced on the podcast.
Hi, Nikki. Oh, wow, I like that, actually. I just think that I'm a servant. I am here on earth to really just fulfill my purpose, and that happens to be in the marketing, media, and women empowerment space.
Amazing. So you are the founder of Womandla. Can you explain to us briefly what Womandla is and what it is that you do?
Sure. Okay. So we have this Womandla Foundation, which is the nonprofit, and the nonprofit really is about empowering, educating, and equipping Black women and girls in the African diaspora. So we're starting in South Africa, and we want to just go up the continent and doing that through STEM or advocating for STEAM, which is science, technology, engineering, arts, and maths. We run a mentorship program for younger girls and basically just walk them through their life journey, through sisterhood, through career options and choices, through choosing the right subjects, and really just being there, that voice or that person that they can speak to for issues that they feel that they can't speak to their guardians or parents. And then we also have entrepreneurship and development, and that's where we do masterclasses for those emerging or existing business women across South Africa. And that is the foundation. Passionate about that. It was a passion project turned organization. But also I have a PR and communications consultancy, and that's the holding company called Womandla Global Network.
Awesome. And so you mentioned before as well that you're already in some places within South Africa and some communities. What communities are you in within South Africa at the moment, in case, or if someone wants to maybe reach out and get involved as well?
Right. So on the foundation part, we have a mentorship program that has just launched in Phoenix, Durban, in KwaZulu-Natal. We have hopes and dreams that next year we'll be in Johannesburg as well. But in Cape Town, where I'm currently at and where most of the team is, we operate in Langa Township. But for our events and workshops, those could be either webinars, so it can be online, or it's based on a venue for that particular workshop or event. So I think our global community or our online community will know exactly what's happening and where. So should anyone want to take part in our initiatives.
And the Womandla Global Network, what is it that you guys cover exactly as well, or what have you worked on recently?
Yeah, so that is like my main job, the consultancy, and our services include public relations and media relations. So publicity, booking publicity. We do a lot of CEO profiling, and we're now starting a platform for speakers as well, because we're connected to the media. So whenever they need interviews or people, that's going to be a space where they can look up incredible speakers. But also the social media management, digital marketing, events, and activations, and some training as well for startups, particularly in the marketing and communication space.
I think I need to join that a little bit. I'm a little bit lazy on the social media marketing side, if I'm being completely honest. But what was
We're
your...
waiting. We'll be waiting.
I'll look it up. What was your amazing, affluent Oprah Winfrey aha moment in your career?
My Oprah, I love Oprah, by the way. She's like dreams
She's an
gold.
icon.
Yes. I think my aha moment in my career was because I job hopped a lot, Nikki, and I don't know if it's a millennial thing. So I job hopped a lot trying to find me in my space and role and trying to find fulfillment in my jobs then, and I just didn't. And I think my aha moment was just realizing that, Sam, fortune favors the brave. So if ever you want to expand your influence, your territory, your money, I think just go and do what your heart desires and start your own business. And that's exactly what I did. And I haven't left since. I've thought about it, but there's not like it's not like a job where you're like, you know what, I resign, I quit, I'll go and find something else. I'm finding myself, my value, my fulfillment and purpose through the work that we're doing. And because the clients that we have also, you know, do good projects. So I'm really encouraged and uplifted and in my workspaces. And yeah, that's my aha.
That's amazing. And how long have you been running Womandla Global Network and the foundation for now?
Yeah, so this month, October, it's 4 years,
Wow.
Womandla Global Network. And the foundation actually came before,
Okay.
so and officially launched in 2018, but I have been doing community service and for a while prior to that.
Well, happy 4 years at Womandla Global Network.
Thank you, thank you. I'm so proud. What an incredible milestone and madness too.
Yeah, I think your comment earlier, if it's a millennial thing, I think it was a boomer thing to stay in a position for about 20, 40 years. You know, you get that
Yeah,
retirement package with the company. And I feel Gen Z hops a little bit more than what millennials
yeah,
do. Millennials still feel some kind of loyalty,
yeah,
I think. So
yeah,
they
yeah,
stay a bit longer. I mean, I've been in my position now 4 years at Salt, which is also quite unheard of. And a friend of mine, she's been at her company for over 4 years now, 5 years, which is also very unheard of with us
yeah,
millennials. But I think
100%.
there's definitely been a big push as well. And just hearing you talk about, you know, finding your passion, I think that's why people have been
Mm,
moving. And I think it's a good
mm,
thing. You know, it's also a lot of people not accepting sort of this work life balance as opposed to work
yeah.
life balance.
Yeah. And also, I must say, you know, with the nature of work, I mean, that's also moved along since the boomers, and that's changed, like
Mm.
just technology, with the pressures, with capitalism, you know, so many things have changed that have really made us more aware of our mental health and made us more aware of what is important, because things were a little bit more simpler then. And I think our parents would find contentment in just having that consistency to build their families, and for us we just prioritizing different things.
Yeah. So as an entrepreneur, what were your views before you took the leap to entrepreneurship, and what have they changed now since becoming an entrepreneur?
Yeah, I mean, I felt the difference, sure, almost immediately in the way that I thought. So I think my mindset shifted quite significantly becoming an entrepreneur. And the reason why, like, is that I would take a lot more instructions in my workspace. So it was more about what the company value is, what the deliverables are, sure, and what we're trying to move. And all of those things are still valid in my journey. But in the way that I thought, like, I just have a holistic mindset on how to do things now. And it's just like I'm now more proactive, because I mean I'm running the business, and of course I want the right people to join and assist and help and work with freelancers. So communicating our value and our efficiencies is also very important. But I think it's just stretched my thinking, my creativity, it's stretched my confidence. Oh boy, it's so hard to pitch and be like, I'm the best in the business, forget about everyone else, and to get those. So you really, really grow. And where I would have limited myself in a role, and just be like, this is the job spec, this is what I have to do, and I've delivered, and this is my key performance indicators. So, yay. I now just have a broader, holistic thought process in the business goals, the business objectives, and having the right people and communicating that well. I think, as I'm a communication specialist, I studied PR and communication, but I actually sucked at it, you know. And being in a role of running these two businesses has really stretched me in what I thought I knew all about, and dealing and working with people. So I think, yeah, the shift was definitely like a different mindset. I went from a fixed mindset in terms of how to deliver, to a more growth mindset, because things change. You pivot, like we've heard it so many times, but when you're actually doing it, you're like, oh boy, now I see why I shouldn't have been rigid in that. I should have, you know, pushed the boundaries a little bit more in that. So I think, yeah, it stretched my creativity and confidence as well.
How did you sort of pep yourself up for pitches as well? Because you said you used to struggle with those. So how did you kind of overcome that? What did you do to get yourself through to become better at pitches?
Yeah, so I mean, I've joined programs. I've been on a lot of programs for entrepreneurs through the US Embassy, through various things. And I think
cool.
in those networking programs, and recently B2B, you have to learn how to pitch. So they actually teach you the skills. I know some people have done Toastmasters, so I think that would be a good idea and something I also think about. But it really goes with practice, and it also goes with the coaching element. I really believe having the coach or mentor to help you to overcome that. I'm not a person who's afraid to speak, so that made it a little bit easy, but sometimes it's tough owning your stuff, speaking about what you do as a business. It's easy when it's, oh, this is my role, and you somehow, differentiate or distance yourself. This is my role at this company, and if it doesn't work out, and then you go report to the boss, oh, well, it didn't work out.
Yeah.
But here in your business, you're gonna have to make it work.
Yeah.
You need to go there with a winning mindset that I'm here to win. I'm here to convince this person, and that's a muscle that you actually grow and continue to develop in.
Oh, I've also thought about a Toastmasters before. It always seems so much fun, especially I think if you are someone who likes to talk and comfortable with talking and being center of attention, clearly. I think it's always something that's fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's something I can explore. Apparently it's intensive, but we'll see. If you want to really hone in on your crafts, then maybe something to look at.
Yeah, definitely. So what have been some of the other struggles that you've had that you faced as an entrepreneur?
Sure. I mean, this journey is not easy. So firstly, if anyone thinks it is, it absolutely is not.
It's quite glamorized entrepreneurship.
100%. On LinkedIn, we are all thrilled for this. We are all excited to announce. We're always just, but the blood, the sweat, and the tears that goes on behind all those announcements when you do win, right? Or when you do achieve something, like it was something that I don't think I was actually prepared for. I'm first generational entrepreneur, my sister and I, in our family. So there was never an example or an immediate example to look up to ask questions, to see what failing looks like, and to pick yourself up even beyond that. If anyone failed in my family, it was still within their job role. They were still guaranteed salary at the end of the month. And for the first time, I didn't have a salary for a while in my business when things went, a bit south. And those are the things that I kept having to look, where am I going wrong? And I personalized all the failures, right? Because, I'm the business and I'm normally excellent. I've won so many awards. So why aren't the clients coming? There's those challenges where you start like internalizing and personalizing things as if you are the person that is wrong. And of course, I know I have blind spots. I know I have my weakness. But I think the hardest thing was how you feel so alone and sort of unsupported in the journey. And for me, as I said, for the first part, not having a mentor. I later then got a mentor to help with my business growth. But also, I think what failure looked like for me was when a contract was not renewed, or when I served ties with a particular places and I chose me, and I was like, is this the right thing to do? Like, this is the business that I'm meant to be building. I should suck it up. But in certain instances, it's like, no, you don't have to suck it up when this person is or this company is completely misaligned and absolutely not respectful of your craft or your time, or they really just, I don't know, don't see the value. And it's like, I'm not going to try and prove my value. I've proven it enough through my proposal, through our conversations, through our meetings, through so it's really been quite a journey of self-discovery.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Yep, of resilience. There are things that you like, I don't want to do this, but you kind of just have to do it, And I'm a last born, so I'm kind of spoiled. So I felt like, if I don't want to do stuff, I can wrangle my way out. But no, not when people are relying on you, clients are relying on your team and yourself. I've got stuff to pay for, so I have to, just push through, Yeah, and also I think in the public relations space, there's just so much drive to look good. I mean, it's our role, it's our job to portray an image. And when I was going through it, okay, I was struggling with then looking the part and just
Yeah.
being the part at the same time. So yeah.
That must have been so hard as well. You know, you're feeling some kind of way, and then you're having to put this Instagram highlight reel on your social media
Yeah.
saying, everything's good, everything's great. Reminds me of that meme of that dog sitting in the burning room with a coffin. It's like, everything's fine.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. I have a whole folder of memes that actually just talk to how I feel and love them all.
Before we decided to come onto the podcast, we had another conversation, and you mentioned that also, you know, when you're an entrepreneur, your relationships also tend to struggle a bit. There seems to be challenges around relationships in entrepreneurship, not just romantic as well, but you were saying like friendships, family as well.
I think, you know, relationships are just a tricky thing just to navigate generally. But I think when you are an entrepreneur, it seems like you're somewhat selfish. And that's not the case. I'm not that person. I would like to believe I'm very generous and altruistic. I mean, hello, there's the foundation. But when you feel that the depth of that call so strong and you just want to push and do that and see the success happen, sometimes you really just have such a laser focus that you somewhat take advantage of relationships, and it's not intentional. It's not meaningful. You take advantage in the sense that you're like, I'm busy now, I'll get back to it and whatever, and then the next thing comes upon and the next thing comes on, and then next thing it's 2 weeks later and you actually haven't connected with some of the people that are important to you. And then also when you are, let's say, depressed or stressed, you also feel like, oh, I don't want to burden anyone with this until I out, or at least for me, that was my personal journey. But I think also I'm kind of type A perfectionist, and yeah, so I had wild expectations in how people will see how I work, and that will translate in how they will work. I just thought that was leading by example, honestly. But it isn't.
Which is right to assume.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have thought the same, but that's just probably the A type.
But think about it, Nikki. If you see, I don't know, your boss or whatever working until midnight every day, you don't actually aspire to do that. And you actually have a personal like boundary and be like, you know what, I'm done with this at 6. Afterwards, I'm going out, I'm going to dinner with my friends, I'm doing A, B, and C. And so because I have these two roles actually with, you know, being a social entrepreneur on both spectrums, I was always working. And I think the level of stress, the level of frustration, my communication style, and all of those things also impacted the relationships that I had when I was still establishing it myself and starting everything, because there was just such an overlap and there was real life things happening at the same time. So yeah, relationships do and did suffer. And I started realizing this the most when I was like, okay, I'm really going through so much and no one knows about it.
Yeah.
Or
you kind of made yourself an island.
100%. And also that goes the opposite way. I did not know what was going on in other people's lives. And I was like, oh my word, I didn't realize that so much was happening in this person's life that I said I cared about. And yeah, so boundaries. I have been learning boundaries. Also being a person who is giving and generous and always willing to help. I had to like find why I am that way and then put boundaries. That I'm not always on call for people who then need help for A, B, and C just because I am good at it. Like they need to book a time so that I can give myself my time to then rest. Because from a restful place, then I can show up much better in my spaces and in my relationships, and I can be happier as a person, and I can be attentive to the needs of my people.
Yeah, they say a rested mind is a productive mind.
100%, 100%. So I take naps during the day too.
Oh, I love a good nap during the day. They are so underrated. How long are your naps?
I can do like a 20-minute is good enough for me.
Yeah, 20-minute power nap.
Yeah,
I usually set a timer for like 30 minutes because I know it takes me about 5-10 minutes to fall asleep. So then I do get that sleep out of 20.
Yeah, 100%.
And what was a business blunder turned to blessing in your journey at Womandla?
Ooh, a business blunder that turned into a blessing. I think, yeah, I'm going to speak to this quite vaguely because it was quite a sensitive thing that happened, is again with the relationships actually. I think when I started losing certain people in my space-time life and in the team, I then understood what we needed to work on and what recruitment journeys should also look like. You know, with the foundation particularly, or whatever, when someone is doing something great, you're like, oh, I want to be a part of this, you know?
Yeah.
You get excited, you see all the pictures, and you're like, I'm actually quite skilled at this, but people don't realize the work, that there's actual real work behind building anything, and it takes a lot, it takes everything.
It's not an overnight success.
It really, really isn't. And passion will only take you so far. Above and beyond that, it's real hard work. And so I think the blunder in the relational issues that I had and that turned into a blessing is that I could then look into working on leadership strategies, styles, communication strategies and styles, being clear on recruitment expectations. You know, again, this is one of those things that you learn once you're in the entrepreneurial journey, right? Because coming from work, just based on our conversation earlier, coming from work, you're the one being recruited, you're selling yourself, and you sound great, but then you have to deliver, right? So just from the flip side, it's like, how do I actually test critical thinking? And this is what I'm now using in whoever I would like to join our teams. How do I establish that this person is here, sure, with good intentions, but can deliver, you know? So those are the things that have really helped us grow. And yeah, the blessing in that is that, our strategy has changed. Our strategies has grown. We've had a lot more partners coming on board based on this. If that had not happened, we wouldn't have taken a relook, a refresh on how we do things as an organization, and change those areas and blind spots and work on our passions and deliverables to get where we are today.
So off the back of that, what would be a top tip of yours for anyone looking to start a business or become an entrepreneur, or as you call yourself, a social entrepreneur?
What are the top tips? Firstly, I would say be prepared. There's a level of preparation that is required, and there are some things that you won't know until you're in it, unfortunately. There is no handbook, because the entrepreneurial journey is a university of itself. You keep learning, but of course you can see where you are where you need more assistance and help. Like, I hate admin. I hate anything. I mean, I should know all the finances of the business, but I hated accounting. Like, I hated accounting.
It's the reason why you didn't do it at university.
So in running a business and making sure that it's sustainable, you need to understand all those accounting concepts. You need to have the right trust, you know. So I think the top tips is firstly knowing your strengths and knowing your weaknesses. I think with that, it's very important, you know, so that where you are weak, you find the right person and you don't feel threatened by them. So don't take your weaknesses and make them threats, you know. So understand your weakness, work on it, on your weaknesses, work on it, grow. Be happy to get feedback. Like, feedback is just so critical in this journey. It's a gift. One of my mentors said, feedback is a gift. And I really believe in working on relationships. I think those are the three things that I would say are my hot takes and tips. Relationships matter. Feedback is a gift. Learn your strengths and weaknesses, and don't turn those into threats, but opportunities. And I think the last thing about starting a business is have financial backing. That's just so important. So if you're transitioning from a job to entrepreneurship, start off, save for a year if you can, start off slowly but surely, and then once you can pay yourself a reasonable amount. That fluctuates. Well, it has for me in finding the sustainability of the business. But yeah, be financially secure or marry rich.
Or marry rich. I love that. Maybe
Yeah,
that's a good idea. And then you can have all your
yeah,
entrepreneurship dreams come true.
yeah, yeah. If all else fails,
Yeah.
marry rich.
What was a cinematic worthy cock up moment for you in the time that you've had your career?
Oh my God. I think, yeah. Oh my word. I don't know. But I think something I've done and I've absolutely learned from, like, was when sending out a press release, and I was just so busy trying to tick that off my list that I sent the wrong press release. I mean the right press release, but to the wrong like media house.
Oh
I
no.
wanted to crawl under something, a mat. I think, yeah, I've learned so much from that mistake. What a cock up, because you're also trying to get in there,
Yeah.
learn the, yeah,
Trying
get
to
the
make the
relationships
right impression and like
right and
so
build the relationships so
professional.
that
Yeah.
yes, so that you're the content queen that they're
Yeah.
calling. Then you just screw it up with the competitors'
Oh no.
details. Are you serious? Yeah, I
Oh
will
no.
never let that down. But yeah, now it's paying attention to detail. Learn to pay more attention to detail. Yeah.
So before we head on into the quick fire round, I just want to finish off by ask everyone on the podcast, what is your view on failure? I heard you mention a bit earlier, but what would you say is your view now on failure?
Failure is, because I've gone through it and quite significantly, you just need to learn to have a relationship with failure.
Mm.
I'm not someone who likes to let things go and be like, oh, it failed, off water off a duck's back. I'm not that kind of person. I want to see why I failed,
Mm.
how I can, move forward from this. So I think that is part of changing your mindset into a growth mindset, but have a good relationship with failure. Because I mean, for the most part, when you're studying through school, when you fail, you're punished significantly or
Yeah.
made to feel a particular way about failure. And this is why you get anxious and anxiety, and you're not as confident or proactive because we're so afraid of failing.
Mm.
Whereas we should actually learn that failure is something that we should have a relationship with, but don't walk into something with that I'm walking into this knowing that I'm going to fail.
Yeah.
That's not doing. But if this doesn't happen, what can I do? How can I learn from this? How do I move forward? What is required to change and move the needle? I think so. Having a better relationship with failure is something that we should all like harness, actually, because it is definitely a part of life and it's actually a good part of your growth. So failing is not giving up. That's definitely one thing I also want to say to the listeners. Failure is not giving up. Failure is just finding what did not work and then finding what will work and using that for your advantage.
Yeah, I love that so much. I couldn't agree more with you. So let's just quickly move into our quick fire round. So this is how we normally end off the interview. So it's just a few questions, first word or sentence or something that comes to mind. So starting off, first question is, if you could change people's perception about one thing, what would it be?
Perception about me?
Anything.
Okay. If I could change people's perceptions about, this is a tough question. I think I would change people's perception about, that we can't get or achieve anything without hard work. Yeah, for the longest time, I thought, things can come easy, but no.
Or you're just lucky.
Hard. Yeah, or you're just lucky and blessed. Sure, you are, but you need to work hard. Yeah. I think that's something people should know.
And two, what is the worst piece of advice you've ever received?
The worst piece of advice I've received is do what makes you happy. I'll tell you why, because there could be a lot of illegal things. There could be a lot of things that are not beneficial to me, but they will make me happy. That is not the indicator. Do what will move you forward. Do what will help you in 5 years down the line. Do what will be good for someone else. But not just do what makes you happy. There needs to be parameters with that.
And off the back of that, what is the best piece of advice you've ever received?
The best piece of advice I've received is okay, I'm going to somewhat paraphrase, but it's you accept the love you think you deserve.
Oh, I love that one. I
Yeah, that
completely
saying,
agree.
yeah, yeah. And it just is such a self-love situation that,
Mm,
if a client is treating you this way and you receive that, that's up to you.
yeah.
If in a romantic relationship, your partner is doing bare minimum and you are telling them that you're not happy and they do nothing about that and you continue to accept that, that's still up to you. If you eat junk food for the rest of your life and not take care of your body and not love your body, that, the body that should be carrying you to do all the wonderful things you should be doing, that's also up to you. So you're accepting that love that you think that you deserve. So yeah.
And if you could live in any book in the world, which one would it be? But if you don't read fiction, what is a book that you would highly recommend?
There's one book that has never left my heart and mind, and that's The Five People You Meet in Heaven.
I know that one, yeah.
Yeah, by Mitch Albom. What a beautiful story. And
Mm,
it was just juxtaposed in various scenarios, but it all just comes together. It feels like such a spiritual journey and book. And I just think that, yeah, if I were to be featured there, I would love that, to live in that book. And yeah, that there's the one line that says, no story sits by itself. So I love that so much, because as much as we think that we could be very different, and we are, and we experience
mm,
life differently, and people enjoy certain privileges and others not, we are still somewhat interconnected to each other,
mm.
and just find that essence is just, what will move the human race forward.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Cool. And coming to the last question, if you had to have a dinner party and you could invite three guests, who would they be? They can be anyone who has a part of history or dead or fictional or currently alive as well in the world.
It would be Oprah Winfrey. We've mentioned my love
Yes.
for Oprah Winfrey.
Okay.
Or it would be Kanye Gqomo. She used to own Destiny Magazine and Media House and Publications. So, yep. And it would be, I think she's Jamaican or something, but her name is Dr. Cindy Trim. And
Okay.
she's just she's a spiritual leader. And I just think that would be just all encompassing of the person, the people I look up to, yeah, and who I am. So I would love to have a fat chat with them at a dinner party.
Oh, that does sound like a really nice dinner party as well. I can imagine you just want Oprah there shouting, "You're all getting treated."
Yeah. And can we do it at her house?
Yeah. You're getting a car. You're getting a car. You're getting a car.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Sam.
Yeah.
That's all from my side on the podcast. Thank you so much for joining and sharing your knowledge and expertise, your experiences in entrepreneurship, and then also some of the struggles that you've encountered going through it. And then I'll drop any details about Womandla as well, so that people can reach out to you if they want to get involved, help with the foundation, or maybe apply to Womandla Global Network and join your team.
Thank you so much. It's been a lovely conversation. And yeah, absolutely loved sharing. And yeah, it also makes me think, Yeah.
Awesome.
So thanks for the invitation.
Yeah. Okay, thanks so much, Sam. We'll be in touch soon. Cheers.
Alrighty. Bye.